Yo, what's up?
Baby, let's go.
Welcome to our website. We got loads of news and gossip for you today. But first, here's a new song.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
Hey, whoa. You know why this was on, right?
Hi.
Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe on a beautiful Monday. Rainy and very bad weather. I didn't think Doc was going to make it today.
You should really have faith.
It's not that. It's that the weather's bad right now.
Oh my gosh, it's awful.
See? You must have been on the road already and then it opened up the skies.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, isn't it something? We haven't seen her in studio since like October, I think.
Really?
I don't think I've ever seen her at all.
She was here when we had a little situation in the studio, and then
I don't think I remember seeing her.
Yes, she was here.
I wasn't here.
Yes, you were.
No.
Yeah.
Was I here?
You were, but you were checked
It
out.
was one of those days.
One of those days.
It's like, you remember that day?
Two people in a car.
Two people in a car.
You and me. Moi and you. Talking to a microphone.
Two gentlemen from a different decade in a car.
You guys want to sit on the couch? We'll move Slick. We can move Slick.
Yeah,
Slick will
he's
move over here.
He's like a slippery guy. Slick the slippery
Over
man.
he set up. Hey, John, how you
John.
doing? Well, happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday to you.
A little wet, a little late, but we've just been working with our crew a little bit and doing what you got to do. Catch up on the weekend.
We did. We're going over some of our futuristic plans.
Futures, which is perfect because we've got futures in the house for our 1 o'clock hour today.
We do. And we have, on the set, we have Anna and we have Taylor, two of our rising stars. And of course, we always have Slick because there ain't no party until Slick comes to town.
Really Slick. Talking to Taylor. Pete Agua.
He saw.
Once you watch it, you'll understand.
He saw In the Heights. I lived in the Heights. I was an auxiliary in the Heights. My sister still lives there. There ain't nothing about the Heights right now that I would find amazing, but if you say so, I believe you.
They make it look glamorous.
Taylor, you see In the Heights?
He's only playing one song. He's only been playing Pete Agua.
He's never even had a piragua. You never had a piragua either. You know you want piragua. That's just a snow cone in Spanish.
Haley's going to say Slick. Take a mic. Look, she's bringing you a mic. Thank you, Haley.
Haley's bringing a mic because she understands.
She's like the stealth. The way she maneuvers through the equipment. Look at her.
She's the only one that fits.
I know. She does it like she just flows and
I
glides.
said, Taylor, can you get that over there? Because I can't get over there.
I know. What am I getting? So, happy Monday to you. I like your socks, by the way.
You like my socks?
You had a nice week in Batman.
It was okay.
Baptism, family, boys,
see Joey.
grandsons.
It's amazing. The older my son gets, the more of a pain in the tuchus he becomes.
No, not at all.
He was all over Slick on Friday.
Yeah?
Slick, what was up with all of that nonsense?
It was about this whole situation. I'm not going to say it out loud. I just don't know why he picks on me. But he's your kryptonite, though.
He's your kryptonite?
Yeah,
I
but
love
he
it.
picked on Slick
He did?
mercifully.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Really?
And I didn't know what was going on. And then they filled me in. I'm like, wow.
But you had boys' night over in Studio A.
Oh, it was funny. You know, your father's a riot.
Is he?
He told us a story about the military.
Did you ask him about the Moluccans?
No, I
You
didn't.
should have.
I couldn't. His story lasted 35 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was hilarious. You know, your father had a general in his pocket. He tell you the story?
Probably.
Unbelievable. Fun stuff.
Yeah, he likes telling stories, and he'll take you back to his childhood. And if you wait, he'll digress a little bit over to my grandfather and his childhood. And then he will wrap it all up eventually and get back to that story.
The amazing thing about your father is he took me to my childhood.
I'm telling you. But they had a really good time. We had ladies' night here, sponsored by Dignity Memorial and Lost Harbor Spirits, and it was a really nice, intimate event. We had, I think, about 12, 14 women here. You had a few of our crew. The guys were hanging out waiting, and Dan and Slick and Val, amazing on breakdown and setup, and you guys were truly spectacular. They work all hours
The
here.
the funny thing is that I took out the shot glasses that are made of the salt.
Yes.
So I put this whole story about how I went to Mexico and I climbed the Himalayas. I don't even know if that's in Mexico, but I climbed them anyway. And when I got to the top, there was this monk, and he gave me these 4 shot glasses. This whole story. And then I poured the rum in it, and they drank it. And they go, because of the story, wow, this is delicious. If I don't tell them the story, they don't like it. It goes to show you the power of the mind.
Exactly, the power of the mind. It was a nice event. One of those glasses leaks, by the way.
It does?
I guess you didn't have it there
doesn't
and leak
leak.
long enough. But it's all good. But
You
it was
gotta
a
drink
nice
it fast.
event.
It
Fast.
leaks? Oh, that's not good.
Only one does. So talking to Taylor, what did you talk about today?
Today I interviewed Anna, and we were talking about how she moved here from Brazil like 5 years ago, right? Yeah, and I don't know, I was just talking about school here versus there. Kind of similar to when I talked to my friend from Italy, like comparing school there to school here and stuff like that. So, yeah.
How'd you like it, Anna?
It was interesting. I liked it.
You like the school here better than over there?
Yeah, for sure.
It's much
Interesting.
smaller over
It's
there.
I don't know. I feel like here you meet more people. You have more classes. Like it's not one curriculum. You can make your own. So
And here it's in English, over there it's in Spanish
Portuguese.
or Portuguese.
Yeah. So yeah.
Same language to me.
Same thing, yeah, but it's not.
Do you think that they have it's more difficult to learn in Portuguese to get information than English?
I feel like English, since it's like kind of universal language, you have more not opportunities, but like the information comes easier because everyone tries to do the main things in English. So I guess so. Oh, I'm sorry.
Interesting. Because when I went to Puerto Rico and I went to school there, it was by the University of Minnesota. So some of the classes were in Spanish and most of the classes were in English. So the ones that were in Spanish, because,
So you did virtual school in Puerto Rico through the
Not
University
virtual,
of
but-
Minnesota?
yeah, not virtual. It was there. They had professors
University
from
of
the university.
Minnesota was in Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
Isn't that
Co-
interesting?
What?
Isn't that interesting?
It was school.
But it was University of Minnesota in Puerto Rico. Did you not
we
find that
were
interesting?
a college preparatory, and the classes were all college. There was no high school classes. We were learning college calculus, and we were number 1 on the island for chemistry, and they were doing some stuff that I never heard of in my life when I got there.
Interesting.
And we were number 1 in the Caribbean in science and math. And they did it in Spanish, man. That's hard, because I had been learning in English, and I had to learn all over again how to listen to Spanish, which was really tough.
Really interesting. Well, welcome, Anna, to our crew.
Thank you.
You're being well taken care of under the wings of Taylor Dragovich.
For sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Taylor, you've been
course,
with
no
us, what,
problem.
almost a year, right?
Yeah, like after this summer, it'll be a year. So it doesn't feel like that long. I still feel like I'm like one of the new people, but then I'm like teaching people stuff. So
And you guys were in Fuego today.
yeah,
How'd that go?
I didn't understand anything she was saying, so that was rough. And then the rain made some glitching issues, but
Oh.
it was fine.
How about you,
We did
Anna? Did you
good.
understand it?
Kinda, yeah. But yeah.
Did you like it?
Yes, she's very positive and tries to help you out. But yeah.
Lena Sosa is great.
If Anna's here when Daniel Bujan comes, that show is in Portuguese.
She knows Danielle, but I think it's on Thursday. I don't know if you're here on Thursdays.
I'm not.
And we also are talking to do a Russian show. I don't know if we're going to get that off the ground, but we'll see.
You know, Slick and his ladies is all I can tell you. Dr. Allure, you've never met anyone as slick as Slick. But the thing with Slick is he doesn't do anything. He just has this aura about him, and they all flock to him. Am I right?
No.
Yes. Am I right, Slick?
No. It's yeah, right. Not at all. He is one of the reason I call him Slick is he's very smooth. So he gets you into his web, and he does it so nonchalantly that he has everybody in here thinking that he doesn't do anything. Not true.
He don't do nothing.
He don't do nothing. He don't do nothing.
Exhibit A, you can ask Haley.
Exhibit A, Haley. Haley's on point on this one.
Haley's the one that told me how you operate.
She was there.
She told me. She says, Slick has this idea. That woman was all over his camera. She had her finger in his ear. He says, go ahead, don't worry about it, no problem. He never says no. She was playing with your hair and your hat and everything else.
Everything. Dr. Laura, she's like, we
What?
got to get that Dr. Laura bobblehead that goes like this. It goes like this.
I know.
We definitely have to get that for her.
But she told me her kids said no to that, no?
Since when do I listen to my kids?
I know, but they scare me. We should do the bobblehead thing, though.
We got to get into that. We're going to talk to futures. See what else you girls got going on. Anything else going on with talking to Taylor?
Not right now, but no. Now I'm teaching Anna. All I know.
How do you like teaching?
I mean, I feel like in a way I've always been used to teaching people stuff, being like the oldest sibling, so that comes in handy. But I kind of like it. Like, I feel so helpful, and then when people ask me questions, I'm like, I like using what I know to help them out, and they're always so like appreciative, like, of me helping them. So it's
How is
like
she as a
full
teacher?
circle.
She's really good. She explains very well.
Thanks.
She's
Yes.
patient, right?
Yes, she is, for sure.
Not like Slick. Slick is very impatient.
Oh, Slick is not.
Slick is very patient.
Slick goes, blah, 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 blah. You should get it? Get it. Get what?
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
We love Slick.
No, Slick is patient.
Slick is the best. We've got a great crew. Everyone
He has a great
teaches.
sense of humor,
He
yes.
yes, he definitely deals with you. You've been on a whole nother level today of
It's all that bad.
I can't even. I
That's
don't
because
even know what it
Metrograde
is.
leaves tomorrow. so
No,
it's
we got a
kicking.
whole nother week.
You just told me it stops tomorrow.
A week. We've got a whole nother week of retrograde, and then we can go back to signing new contracts and bringing in new stuff. But right now, it's, we just got to deal and get through the next 7 days. But we're going to be doing it one drop at a time.
All right.
All right, let's take a commercial break. When we come back, we've got Dr. Laura Ellick joining us, and we've got futures in the house. So stay tuned. I'm really glad they're in studio. We're going to find out firsthand what they're doing up there in Tequesta. Give us a call, 888-994-4995, Studio A, and we'll be right back.
Do you need a strong cup of coffee to get you through your day? Try your very own Brooklyn Cafe Show coffee, the official coffee of the Brooklyn Cafe Show. You can pick up a bag from us, or two. Contact us at 866-224-5422, or just stop on by. We're at 2400 Northwest Boca Raton Boulevard, Suite 13. Come on in, grab a bag of our signature Brooklyn Cafe coffee. The cafe doors are always open.
Dr. Laura Ellick, a licensed psychologist practicing in both Florida and New York with over 20 years of experience, addresses the negative thoughts that are keeping you stuck in your lifestyle patterns. Dr. Ellick works with children, teens, and adults, from anxiety and depression to eating disorders, addiction recovery, and medical issues. Making a deep interpersonal connection is a magical part of the therapeutic relationship. Contact Dr. Laura at 516-635-6186 or at Laura Ellick, ELLICK.com for a personalized consultation. It's time to remove the blocks that are preventing you from achieving your dreams. Call Dr. Laura Ellick at 516-635-6186 or at LAURAELLICK.com.
The way you live your life says a lot about you. the way you choose to commemorate your lifetime can say even more. It's a single event that speaks volumes. So how do you celebrate a life? Dignity Memorial providers believe that your memorial service should be as unique as you are, reflecting your personality and your passions. It should be a perfectly tailored send-off, a fitting tribute for family and friends to celebrate the person they love. We're professionals at catering to your every need, right down to the catering. In fact, no detail is too small. So when it comes time for a fitting tribute, we'll see that your final wishes are beautifully fulfilled. It's what Dignity Memorial providers are known for. And why you should rely on us to see that your life is well celebrated. The celebration of a lifetime begins here.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
You see my Hercules?
That is Samson.
He's my Hercules.
Is he?
It is a tower of strength, like Doc.
I know.
You know, I look at it as a pushing off the pillars.
So I'm glad Dr. Ellick is here because I got to tell you, we're in Mercury retrograde. People are opening up, but yet people are in a level of not being nice. The airlines are going crazy right now.
People are opening up too much.
The airlines people aren't being nice to each other. Disney World's taking away their mask mandates, which means in summer the lines will be longer, people will be crankier, the kids will be out, and we have to deal with what's going on.
I went to get gas at a gas pump. The gas pump is empty. I'm going in there, and this lady comes out of nowhere, and neither one of us can get to the pump. So I says, oh, okay, let me move back. So I move back. She goes. Then she gives me the business for 15, 20 minutes where she pumps up. So I said to the lady, I gave you the gas pump. What's the problem? Oh, you're rude. You're this. I says, I'm not your ex-husband. Why are you screaming at me for it this way? Then after that, I really got naughty. What is wrong with people?
I don't know, but I'm glad we got Dr. Laura Ellick in the house with us, and we've got Johnny from Futures joining us. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you for having us.
We have not had Dr. Laura here in a long time, and Johnny, it is a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
It is awesome to be back. I'm just looking at all of the things that you guys did here. I love it.
We've changed it.
It looks fantastic.
We added some extras.
Extras?
I can't remember the last time I saw Doc.
She was here that day when Fuego Studio B exploded.
Oh, that's why I can't remember. Now I remember it.
It must have been retrograde back then, too. I think it's been retrograde every day.
I think it was back then in October, and the studio sort of exploded. You have to check it out now. We've repainted, we've rehung things. We have a whole new vibe going on in there.
We do.
But it had to change a little bit. But we've been here virtually, but we haven't seen you.
I know. I'm so happy to be back.
I did not realize you had a third book.
I do. It's a secret.
Oh,
It's a secret book.
Total
That was
Wellness for
actually-
Mommies.
That was actually my first book.
Really?
Yeah, that was my first book.
This one?
No, that's my recent book.
This one?
That's my first book. That was back in 2009.
Is this your eye?
Everybody asks me that. It looks like it could be, but it's not.
This is an actress.
I don't know who did it. I wasn't the publisher.
This is a famous actress.
Who is it?
Her father was in the, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the name, but that's who it looks like.
You think so?
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes.
I can't take credit for it.
No, it's you.
It's
me.
you.
Yeah, it's me. It's me.
Tell us about this
Looks
book.
like Jamie Lee Curtis.
It looks like Jamie.
That's who it is. That's who it is. That is Jamie Lee Curtis.
That is funny.
He said it, so it's okay.
He's right.
That's who it is.
Tell us about this book, this Total Wellness for Mommies, empowering women of all life stages. So it's not just mommies, or it is?
It's not just mommies. Really, the book is for anybody, but the publisher who put it out was really looking for some sort of hook, and the hook at the time was really for mommies. So it was part of a whole series of books that were for mommies books, like gardening for mommies or spirituality for mommies, and this was just one of the books in the series. So it's, wellness. I've been doing wellness really since college, before wellness really was like a buzzword. That was something that I was talking about and planning for way back in the 90s. I'm really dating myself right now. But it was way back in the 90s where I was actually thinking about this whole concept of wellness and the body, mind, spirit triad. So that's really what the book is about. It's really looking at wellness from all three components. And that's sort of just in terms of the work that I've done along the way, whether it's anxiety, depression, eating disorders, addiction, we're always looking at all three components.
I'm looking to see if there's a mommies for daddies.
No, but there should be. We should revise it, right?
That's her 4th book.
That's the 4th book, he says.
Well, healing relationships is where it's probably at.
You're probably on the same page I am.
I'm reading. I got to tell you something. I got a lot of stuff to read.
You had a lot of reading to do.
I want to become so educated.
You had a lot of reading to do. Well, now as we're coming out of this pandemic, friends, I think I'm seeing things change. People's patience level is changing. And I'm into this whole, my next stage in life, wanting to do women empowerment, of what that is going into your next stage in life. And here I open up to friends. Friends change, relationships change as your kids grow up, as your kids move on. What are you finding in?
Oh boy, John, I think you could probably talk to this too. I mean, we're seeing it even, at Futures where we work we are exploding with people who are coming in, and people are really anxious for change, really embracing change. I think we've been under this death knell for the past year or so, understandably so, but people are coming out of it having really revisited their life and their choices maybe over the past year. And they're looking really to change, whether it's changing relationships, changing careers. What else do you think, John?
Changing perspectives. A lot of times, before this, people didn't even realize what was most important to them. And now even people that thought that their best friends, they had a lot in common. Obviously, we see the society's become so divisive because one feels this way, one feels the other way, and now they feel alone, and now they have nowhere to turn. So we're seeing so many people coming in because they can't get out of bed in the morning. They just feel panicked all the time. It is a crisis in the U.S. right now, actually all around the world.
That's a very interesting point that you brought up, because people are fighting over whether to wear a mask, not wear a mask, take a shot, not take a shot. It is breaking families apart. It's easy to say you don't want to take a shot, don't take a shot. But then people think that you're picking on them for saying that. You can't say nothing. So how do you breach all of these? You would think that we would have learned to communicate better because of the virus and everything else. How do you breach this stuff? How do you get these families back together?
I think we're communicating worse than we ever have before, believe it or not, because I think we're blinded by our emotions. And because of that, we are not getting back to basics, which is respect. You guys know I talk about like dating and relationships and all that. And we talked about a long time ago that when I got the vaccine and I was dating, I had one guy say, I'm not going out with you. I know everything I need to know about you because you got the vaccine. See ya.
Really?
Really.
What is Futures, though? What do you do if, it sounds like a great name, but let's talk about...
Futures Recovery Healthcare. We are a true residential facility up in Tequesta, Florida. So we can stabilize clients that need stabilization if they're coming off any type of narcotic. But we are a true campus-style residential program where individuals will come and they can address whatever maladaptive issue they have in their life. Some come for drug dependence, some come for alcoholism. And then we also have a program that's dedicated just to primary mental health for people that everything from living in a state of panic to major depressive to even possibly hearing voices, as long as they're not command to hurt someone or hurt someone else. And then we provide them with that safe space foundation to begin their journey of wellness, however they define that.
So, and it's residential, and you do outpatient also. It's all residential.
We do have a virtual outpatient, but we utilize a lot of our partners in the area and around the country that we've clinically vetted, if appropriate, for people to step down.
And it's interesting because we were talking today how more people now are leaving their jobs than ever before. They feel that, I guess it goes to what Johnny says, they're ready for change, which I would think people just want to get back to where they were, but apparently, as Dr. Laura says, they're reassessing their life saying, I didn't like this, I want to make some changes.
Right. Maybe where you were wasn't so great. So now's the time to actually do. We had a lot of time on our hands when we were home and isolated. I know me personally, I did a lot of journaling. I've never been a big person for journaling, but I started my morning every day with journaling, and I found that it really took me in a different direction. Which I think is, absolutely amazing. I think we've talked about this, I have a milestone birthday on July 1st. So this is like the time for me to kind of figure out, if we ever get through this retrograde stuff, like the next step is what's going on.
And Futures is packed.
We have 4 unique programs, and within those programs we have specialized tracks for some individuals, whether it be trauma or first responders. We even have a pain track for individuals that have become dependent on pain medicine and are looking for another alternative as opposed to just taking a pill that they've become dependent upon. So we use more of a physical therapy approach on that angle. But kind of what Dr. Ellick was saying, and I don't mind self-disclosing, I've been in my own journey of wellness since '07. And I remember when I was thinking about getting better, and I came across a mural and it said, when the pain of remaining the same becomes greater than the pain to change, then and only then will you change. And so it's just a lot of words, but essentially I might be comfortable in my pain because the fear of doing something else is catastrophic. I couldn't even possibly imagine a life without something in my that I become dependent upon. But usually that becomes so painful that the fear of change becomes the best option.
It's interesting. I was just telling Slick a story about something that someone we know went back into a painful situation, and I'm assuming it was for comfort, but the situation itself was not healthy. It was traumatic. It was abusive as far as what abusive is, because the fear of change becomes so great that people think they can't do it on their own, but yet they're almost embarrassed or they don't know where to turn.
They get paralyzed.
To get the help.
I know a lot of, especially individuals that stay in abusive relationships, whether it be male or female, and whatever their partner will be, because the fear of being alone is worse than staying in a toxic abusive relationship. At least they have this interpretation that when he yells at me or hits me or something like that, I'm being gender specific, but I don't mean to be. At least that is a form of affection as opposed to me being by myself, and which is very maladaptive.
And it's also predictable.
Yeah.
People like habit. They like to be able to know if I do X, then is Y. And so it gets you locked in that pattern. And so what we're really seeing, I think, is the past year or so, people just being locked down. And I think the mental health issues that people were pushing down, they've now had a year to kind of get worse and worse. And now we're having the opening up, and it's an explosion.
And it comes in so many different levels now. There are so many other levels. When I was auxiliary, and one day me and Corby broke up a domestic fight, and we got him to arrest him, and she attacked us. Oh, wow. Don't, leave him alone. But lady, we're trying to help you, and so we had to back off in that situation. But I think that friendships now, you thought you had friends, and you go through all of this, and everybody leaves, and nobody's around. Everybody abandons you, and all of a sudden you begin to wonder, were they friends or just acquaintances? Were they people that I met during my journey? And it begins to play tricks on your mind, changes inward because the things around you begin to happen. And I've seen a lot of that. I've seen people change right in front of me. Like you were saying to me, I changed. All weekend I saw all these different changes around me of people that I know. And people that I don't know, all of a sudden, they're people that, okay, let's communicate. But communication is so important. And I think that right now it's hurting. It's hurting our youth. I think it's hurting our kids. I think it's hurting families. How do we stop the trend, take a deep breath, and start all over again?
I think one of the things that I've been talking to people about is just the idea that communication is not confrontation. And if you look at the word confront in the dictionary, it doesn't have the angry connotation that we associate with it. Confront just means to face. But people go in oftentimes with a chip on their shoulder. I'm going to confront somebody, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to say this. And it's really just about communication. And what I'll say to everybody is, you can pretty much say anything to anybody. It's the way you say it that matters. So I think we've lost a little bit of that civility. I mean, look at it. We've been locked down for a year. Our social skills are horrendous. We've been alone, probably just walking around in our underwear most of the year, right? So we've forgotten a lot of the basic kind of stuff, which is be mindful about what you're saying to someone before you say it, because it does have an impact.
I also think it's important to remain open-minded to a new experience, because thank God I don't believe what I believed when I was 18, and thank God I don't believe what I believed when I was 25. And as my life progresses, I have a new infant. So my experiences, my subjectivity changes with my new experiences. So if Dr. Ellick and I disagree on something, if I put a number 6 down, and I'm looking at her, she tells me, you're not right, that's a 9. I'm like, no, you're not right, it's a 6. But in all actuality, we're both right. But the only thing I can do is possibly come over to try to understand her point of view, because I can't force her to mine. So, and when I do come over to her point of view, she might be more open to come understand my point of view, and then it doesn't have to be divisive. We actually can agree to disagree.
And it's fine.
In a loving manner.
But
What a
somebody
novel
has
concept.
to agree to take the first step to doing that.
What's that?
Somebody has to agree to take the first step to doing that.
And I believe that's what we try to do up at Futures, is try to empower the individual to understand, like, I can't control what you think of me, what you feel about me, and how you act towards me. Sometimes I can't even control what I feel or think, those thoughts that come through, but I can control what I do. And so if I'm in control of what I do, I can be the person, Gandhi says, be the change you want to see in the world. What a great idea, right?
It's funny because you don't want to say, I disagree with you, because then they feel you're judging them. I think judgment has become the new trick pony. Everything is judged. Like, people have political stance. They have, when I take the shot, this and this and that. I went to Walmart and 2 people were arguing about wearing a mask and not wearing a mask. And I said listen, they don't have to wear a mask. Just walk them to the other aisle if it bothers you that much. It was just the confrontation they wanted. It wasn't even the verbalization anymore. They want to confront. That's why I tell you, I want to get on a plane, put people who want to fight, put them on a plane, let them all beat each other up.
But I don't think fighting is necessarily the key. I think John and Dr. Laura will tell you, finding in the conflict isn't not necessarily it. It's finding the solution to get through and get out of your comfort zone and grow and maybe stay in peace.
But if you're going to get on a plane, I'm going to get on a plane, and I'm going to get into a fight. You're going to get in trouble with the feds, right? Because airspace is a federal offense. And if you don't know that, I'm teaching you something. You fight on a plane, it's a federal offense. And the feds don't play. There's no forgiveness. You throw a punch, you're going to jail.
But it's also learning how to diffuse that situation. Like, if you get on a plane and you're going to be aggressive and nasty to me, I'm not going to be aggressive and nasty back. I'm going to look to diffuse the situation. So a lot of it is also teaching people not to get caught up, but also to practice like those several key phrases when you're talking to somebody that brings down the situation and it helps you guys find that common ground rather going in with that chip on your shoulder. So it requires also a little bit of mindfulness. Like, I'm in a really cranky mood today, and so today is not the day for me to speak to somebody that way on a plane.
I'm going to have to put you in my pocket.
You should have been here at 8:30 this morning.
I went to Walmart, and I'm minding my own business, and there's this guy with his son, and he rams the car.
This happened again?
No, this is when it happened.
Oh, okay.
He rams the car in the back foot
every
of
weekend with
Linda. Lady, that was what? And it hurts. And she says, first of all, you should move back a little bit. This is when there was that 6-foot distance. And the guy blows up at her. So I said, yo, enough. Calm down, enough. And then he blows up at me. Now, Doc, not for nothing. I should have gone to war with the guy, but I didn't. I didn't do that. And everybody, there was a lady, she dropped the money, she got so nervous because it got hot and heated. So I told the lady with the counter, I says, why don't you call your manager or somebody? Oh, you're going to call the police. Then it really got hot and heated. I didn't say 2 words. But how do you defend yourself? If somebody throws a punch and hits you, in all honesty, what are you going to stand there and say, okay, hit me again? No, you're going to defend yourself, aren't you? Or are you? That's the question I have. Do you defend yourself knowing it's a federal offense to do it? What's going to happen?
I think my goal would be not to get it to the point where you guys are throwing punches, right? So as soon as you see somebody escalating, and you can see that not by what they say, but you can look at their body language too. You can change. See, I always tell people this, like this is how we do marital therapy, for example, when you only have one person in the room and the other spouse won't come to therapy. If you change your role in that cycle, the cycle has to change. So if you change how you behave, the other person has to change by extension. So if you see that something is escalating and you escalate with it, you're getting caught up in it. If you see the escalation and you say, I'm going to do something different, I'm going to say, allow me to help you. How can I help you? You look upset right now. Is there something that I can do? That's different than saying, yo, man, back off. Because what happens when you say that to somebody else? You're not meaning to start something angry, but most people would take that as an angry confrontational kind of thing.
Yeah.
Also, you want to remember that hurt people hurt people. So if somebody's being volatile, to take a step back and understand something's going on in their life. And from that place of understanding, you're examining, like we don't expect healthy behaviors from unhealthy people. So if somebody's being volatile, there's something a whole lot more going on than the cart hitting the person.
Right.
Maybe they woke up and something bad happened, or their mother's sick or something like that. And even just a kind of, then you're less confrontational because you come from a place of understanding, oh, that person's in pain. You know, when people act out, I can always examine my own spirituality. If I'm driving down the road and I get cut off, if I'm like, my inner Philly comes out, or, I bet you they have to go somewhere faster than I have to. Like, if I'm in that mindset, there is no conflict. Go on. But if I'm like, how dare you, and take it personally, it has nothing to do with me. So it really comes down to being understanding of where that person's coming from.
Interesting.
And I think it comes down to changing mindset.
Yeah, you should talk, Mrs. Stamp Your Foot. There was a lady in a car, I was in the Bronx, and she says I cut her off. Okay, maybe I did. I don't know. I didn't think so. She took her shoe off. And she flung it through the window, hit me in the face, and left. And I went after her to flag a cop down. And they did whatever they did. And they
I'm
told me to
feeling a
leave.
lot of anger over here.
No, it's just that I'm thinking now about maybe I should have I guess staring at somebody when they're screaming at me, I shouldn't do that. I should have just turned away, right?
Nonverbal language is almost so much more important than what you say.
The guy was 6'6". This guy wasn't a small dude, okay? So if this guy's coming at me, I'm like, so I gave him the dirty eyeball. I guess I shouldn't have done that.
But here's the other thing, Freddie. Like, everybody's carrying a gun now,
yes.
right? Yep. So you have to be also mindful. You may not just get punched in the face, right? Like, the stakes are a lot higher. There are people running around there. Everybody seems to have a gun, and nobody is afraid to use it. So teaching these skills is really helpful in a lot of different ways, not just, just in the immediate, but just also what are we teaching our kids? What are we teaching? We're teaching everybody that if you carry a gun and you use it, if someone disagrees with you, I mean, it's getting a little crazy out there.
Yeah, a lot of young kids, you see over the weekend, there was a lot of shootings, and they're all 13, 14s.
Oh my gosh, look at Publix. I mean, now I'm sure people are coming to you. I can't even go grocery shopping without a fear.
Right.
So let's take a commercial break. When we come back, let's just talk about generalized anxiety just from what's going on, going to the grocery store, going to Walmart.
I'm not doing that no more.
Don't go anywhere. That's why I order everything in. Give us a call, 888-994-4995. We've got Futures in the house and Dr. Laura Ellick. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Looking for a place to get your ice cream fix? Look no further than Cold Stone Creamery. At Cold Stone, we make our ice cream fresh every single day in store. We have over 20 different ice cream base flavors and over 30 different mix-ins to choose from. We also have plenty of signature creations if you don't want to go ahead and choose your own. To end your creation, you can put it in one of our freshly made waffles. We have ice cream cakes, ice cream sandwiches, milkshakes, smoothies, banana splits, sundaes, and so many other things for you to come check out and enjoy. We are the official ice cream store of the Brooklyn Cafe. Hope to see you soon. And remember, it's always a great day for ice cream.
If a tree falls in the woods and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Have you ever felt that your voice goes unheard? And you think that you can make a difference if only someone would listen. It's time for women in business to have a place to step into your power, a platform to embrace your hopes, dreams, and your visions, a voice to heal and restore. Your voice can make a difference. We have a platform you deserve to share your story and let your voice be heard. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself the chance to be heard and shine bright. Contact New Dawn Media by texting CAFE to 55312. That's CAFE to 55312. Or call us at 866-224-5422. Your voice can make a difference.
Welcome to Lost Harbor Spirits, a world where pirates inspire our spirits, treasures remain undiscovered, and flavors are infused with the essence of mysterious voyages. The distillery became one of the few women-owned craft spirits production sites in the U.S. From our award-winning spirits of vodka and rum to delicious gin, we're always coming up with some new and exciting flavors to keep your cocktails delicious and fresh. Proudly distilling out of West Palm Beach, Florida, Lost Harbor Spirits is a true treasure waiting to be discovered. Contact Palm Beach Distillery at lostharborspirits.com to take a tour or purchase your favorite spirit at your local liquor store.
Hi, I'm Tracy McDonough, owner and founder of Healing Moments. Healing Moments is a healing playroom, a mind, body, spirit center. Our service is love and compassion, and the environment is soothing, peaceful, and inviting. Every area is designed for healing and peace. We deliver services such as massage therapy or lymphatic drainage, energy healing and Reiki, chakra balancing, physical vascular therapy for circulation and pain, vibrational medicine using frequencies and oils, and music in order to calm and relax your mind, body, and spirit. We also offer detoxification services using infrared sauna, ionic foot baths, and power plates. All of our modalities are designed to reduce stress, anxiety, induce relaxation, relieve pain, and provide detoxification and inflammation reduction for optimal healing and wellness.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
That's what I'm talking about.
What?
And this portion of the show is brought to you by these guys.
Dignity Memorial.
Get your dignity on. What are you laughing at?
It's like get your grab a weekend on, get your dignity on.
Important people, important, vital information here.
A lot of important. And we had a great ladies' night. We missed you on Friday night, Dr. Laura. But it was an interesting way to deliver the information of pre-need and pre-planning. We had to start off with everyone getting a little relaxed.
But even Doc can help in those situations because things that happen. I just found out before the show, somebody who we knew and worked with passed away suddenly. It was a shock to me. I couldn't believe that I heard that.
I couldn't text it to you because you were not in the best shape of mind to text stuff, I would tell you.
I don't know what that means, but okay. But things like this happen as well.
Well, it's like you said, you have to know the the other person, if they're having, you can tell the response. If it's not a good time to tell someone something and it can wait and they're not in a good place, then you wait until maybe it's a better place. They're in a better place.
They're in a better place, but sometimes it takes a year, sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes you have stuff embedded in you that as time goes on and your loved one has passed, like I have with my dad, there were things that I should have done that I feel I should have done differently with Dad. And it haunts me. And you sort of have to overcome some of the stuff that you learn every day. And it's a journey, exactly. And your journey sometimes will affect your future. And you just have to be a little bit honest with yourself.
I was reading an article this morning. It says, idea of the day, regret can motivate. Although we're often told what's done is done, addressing our regrets can actually push us forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even with death, death is not necessarily final. You can have a relationship with someone even after they've passed away, right? Because you still have the memories of them. And you still have those unsaid words or those things that you wish had happened that you didn't. That's still a relationship. So you can still work through that stuff even if the person isn't present with you right now.
And I think what we found this past year is people who were ill, people who passed away from whatever reasons, and the anger, whether people hold it or not, and forgiveness. Years ago, a friend of ours, he was riding his bike down 441 and he lost his life to a car accident. The wife instantly forgave the person that hit them. There were no lawsuits, there was no nothing. She went on and did everything she did in our community. Same situation happened a couple weeks ago, the reverse of what it was. And they're bad-mouthing people all over up and down social media. And again, there by the grace of God go I. I do not know what my reaction would be, but you see the same situation, two different responses. And here you sit talking about forgiveness and how we can move forward. Because I guess the anger doesn't help us move forward from a situation.
Exactly. The anger is understandable. We can understand the anger, but how you respond to it, use it, channel it, I think that makes a difference. And it's funny because you were reading the word dignity, and that's what I think about all the time, right? Like even in treatment, when we bring people in, it's dignity. We are helping people who are in a very bad situation find dignity in their situation, recovery in their situation. And what we've lost right now over the past year is treating people with dignity.
And it's interesting, you work with people with substance abuse, with alcohol, with different addictions, but then you also have a whole nother mental health component that is not the addiction side of what it is. It's just what we're trying to navigate through life. Do people come together, you have support groups as a whole, and they're trying to work with each other?
So those each and every program is separately staffed. There's no commingling of the populations. I think I don't want to disparage. I'm not going to disparage any other program, but somebody that suffers from primary mental health really doesn't have much in common with somebody that struggles with substance abuse, and just to put them in together, I think does a disservice to both of them. So our philosophy is our programs do not commingle, and each and every one is separately staffed. So we have clinicians that focus on primary mental health. We have clinicians that focus on primary substance use disorder. And I think it just does that population better. It's a different animal. It's just
How
a totally.
many patients do you have?
We have right now I think we have close to 80 patients.
Yeah, maybe even a little more.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have 25 beds dedicated to our primary mental health program. We have 16 beds dedicated to our Arenda program, which is that was a program designed to eliminate the barriers to the affluent. We have, I believe, 7 or 8 beds for our experiential program.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
That is licensed mental health counselors that take their patients out with and have experiences such as snorkeling, scuba diving,
More adventure therapy.
and then they have
therapy.
some really kind of out-of-the-box therapy approaches. And then our core program, which is the majority, and that's more for our primary substance use with a co-occurring mental health condition, if applicable.
What's adventure therapy?
Oh, it's the coolest thing.
And how do you decide what program people go into?
It's all based on medical and clinical necessity. So upon admission, our admission reps would be interviewing the potential patient and speaking about how the programs differ and what would be most appropriate.
And so sometimes we see people who start off in our concierge level program, which is a program I supervise, and then I supervise the adventure therapy program. And It's really cool stuff. It's really good for people who initially are having a hard time verbally expressing themselves. So being able to do activities and do therapeutic outings, it's a different way of communicating and accessing information. And also it's great for confidence building. We've had a lot of people who have come in who have no self-confidence, no ability to express themselves. They don't trust themselves anymore. And just by doing some of these activities and pushing their limits, they really realize what they are capable of.
And I think the other important aspect is, in most therapeutic approaches, when you're working with a patient, you're going to engage them and speak about a problematic, so like how do they handle stress, and that person's going to have to recall an event and then possibly try to bring to mind what they were thinking, feeling, and what they did, and the therapist can kind of navigate an alternative course. In experiential therapy, if you're down a stroke and you have a 3-foot putt, the therapist is actually gauging how you experience stress at that moment and can process at that moment.
So they would take you back to Walmart.
Exactly.
And redo the whole situation and see if maybe you would have a different experience.
I already heard that part. Let's move on. Yes.
But I think that's probably part of what it is. And it's navigating back in life. Are you seeing some people having a hard time reacclimating back into society?
Oh, absolutely. That's the re-entry anxiety. It's been intense for people. I mean, when we have been told, I think of it for myself, like when I would go to CVS, like back in the day, you know, they would tell you, don't go out without your mask, wear gloves. Like I would come home, I would take a shower. Nobody knew what was going on.
Right.
Even now when I leave the house and I realize that I've forgotten a mask, even though I don't need it in some places, I'm like, oh man, I forgot a mask. And I feel like my heart rate go up. So I can feel that anxiety spiking, and I have access to a lot of coping skills and toolboxes and all that kind of stuff. So I wonder what it's like for the average person who doesn't have access to that.
It's funny you say that because I keep 3 masks in my car in wrappers. Remember the ones they sent in the mail? I keep them because if I forget, I have that fallback. And I did forget over the weekend. I went, oh man. And then I said, oh, but I have it. I was the only one that wore it. Gia didn't wear it. But you know what? I'm still not there. You know, I feel comfortable putting it on, then I take it off, and then I put it on. Going to Walmart, I put it on. Not because I want everybody else to do it, just I'm not there yet.
You're not there yet, right? It's going to take some time. It's interesting because now that I'm thinking about it, you know, Johnny's here today. He's, I think, the first person I met in Florida, right? The first person I met in Florida, and this is our first thing that we've been able to do together, correct?
Yeah, it's actually, do you mind, can I tell them how we met?
Of course.
So part of my role is I do clinical outreach. So when people are leaving our residential level, it's not just appropriate to go home. So whether that means they go to private therapy or a lower level of care, I have to go and assess from a clinical standpoint, are they appropriate? And so I knew that she specialized in New York, and we had patients that were heading back to New York, and we met. And then all of a sudden we had a need at our program for a special skill. And I said, call Dr. Ellick. And all of a sudden we became colleagues. So,
and Dr. Laura is incredible, and perfect timing for what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about stigma. People who come into your program because they have substance abuse issues, and then they leave. How do they come back for outpatient? If they go back into life where it's not this confined, special, nurturing environment, how are they dealing with re-entry on top of that? And are you still on a continuous basis of therapy?
So one of the reasons I left and went to Futures was our alumni program, which I don't know of another program that does it. We're owned by a private family, the Holloway family out of Pennsylvania, and their commitment to their patients is unlike anything I've ever seen. We have an alumni program that's called the Days of Ascent, and if they meet the criteria for the alumni program, which means they completed successfully and they've remained engaged in the alumni services, they're eligible for free treatment for life. And so every 3 months since we've been open, we invite every active alumni member back to re-engage therapeutically. So I'll just share, so I've been sober since 2007. If I was an alumni, I would come in and turn my phone in just like any other patient and be able to process what it's like to have an infant, what it's like to survive a pandemic, what it's like to have a new job, dad died, like all like life. Because it's one thing to get sober, it's another thing, and when your butt's on the line, right? but then life continues, and how do you remain sober? We are not a revolving turnstile of patients. We want you to get sober and maintain that wellness in your life. So it
That's
really is a
incredible.
commitment to our patients for life.
That's amazing.
I've never seen anything like it before. And I'm from New York, and I'm cynical, and I've been around the
free treatment
block.
for life if you
Yeah.
follow. what you're
Follow
supposed
the
to follow.
rules, which is sometimes hard for this population.
Well, sure.
But yeah, what an amazing, and it really comes down, the culture at Futures stems from our owner, Mike Holloway. He really does set the tone. From his saying is from the CEO all the way down to every level that works there. If we find someone that needs help, we stop what we're doing and we get them into a facility or a place, even if it's not Futures. We do not stop until somebody gets well.
You know, it's an interesting aspect. You said the word CEO. The business today, a little twist to this whole thing, because that's on the personal level. And if you're a business owner and trying to get your business up and going, all of the dilemma you're facing now, you know, people don't want to work. A lot of our friends are calling us, I'm hiring. And Dawn says people are leaving their old jobs to new because the opportunities are there. So you add this new stress now. Am I going to have a business tomorrow? How do I keep it open? How do I keep the workers as part? You know, everybody wants to feel like they belong on top of everything else that's going on. What do? How do you attack multiple problems, not only yours, but your business problem as well?
That's a tough one because I'm going through it right now. You guys know I have my side business, and it's been tough during the pandemic to figure out how much time you devote to this, what happens when, you know, you do things like book signings or events or speaking events and nobody is coming to them right now. Virtually, it's not the same. Expectations are different for a virtual event than an in-person event, and it's really sort of stepping down and figuring out from a business perspective what we can do. From a big facility kind of place, sure, expenses are always going to be an issue, but not at the expense of quality care. So I personally, in my business, I give away a lot of free stuff. I just do. I would rather see people get what they need than have them walk away not having anything.
The other thing that I think one of the things that Futures does well that separates ourselves from, there's treatment all over Florida, there's treatment all over the world. One thing that we do cater to and specialize in is business owners. Every patient has their own bedroom. Every patient has their own bathroom. Our electronics policy is a little bit more lax than others because of the clientele that we treat. So if you're a business owner and you're struggling with mental health or substance use, you can't just disconnect for 30 days. You have families and employees that are relying on you. And even though your situation has become to a moment that you have to get well, we allow them to still conduct their business while engaged in treatment as well as an option.
Wow, now that's different, because normally they take everything away from you, right? Isolate you so that you can focus.
Mm-hmm. But that's an ignored
different.
population, too. The idea that somebody who is a business owner has everything together because they have financial means or et cetera, they need treatment, too. They need quality treatment that works. You know, we always talk about meeting someone where they're at. They need something that can meet them where they're at, and the realities of their lifestyle is that they may not be able to go away for 45 days. It's not realistic. So let's figure out a way to make it work for them so the business survives and they survive.
And it's probably nice because then you see the stressors, and it's all right, let's deal with what this phone call or this text meant. How did you deal with it? And what are some tools, as you say, to deal with it instead of making this panacea and this beautiful, like vacation, for 30 days, and then you get that first text on day 31 and you think, oh my gosh, what do I do? You're dealing with it now one-on-one, so it's a nice idea to be able to see where the stressors are.
And addiction and alcoholism never gets to look at a person's bank balance. So see, if you're indigent on the streets, you could be dependent on a substance. If you're the billionaire next door, you can become dependent on a substance. And what we find is the population that has access to the greatest health care, right, because of their monetary value or affluence that they have, they're the ones that seek it the least because of the stigma, right? Where does a coach go for help if they're the ones people always come to for the answer? There are some individuals that have never heard the word no. Their bank balance never goes down, yet they have this void in their soul that they're trying to quench with substances, narcotics, and drinking. that population is a very underserved population. So one of our the Arenda program really caters to that, eliminating all of those barriers.
Coach needs coach. Women and men recovery, two separate, different approaches to this. Yes.
That's a great question.
I know, because I yes, let's leave it there because I have a little bit of background on some of that stuff. Two different approaches.
I think whenever you're talking about male and female dynamics, I think you have to be very careful because you're looking at not just what's going on in the moment, but societal factors, history, culture, politics. So what's really interesting is in Arenda, what we've done recently is we are having on Fridays a women's group and a men's group so that we can separate the groups and deal with some of those issues that are particular to those populations. And also, you know, sometimes men don't want to talk about their sensitivity or some of those other things in front of the women. We have those gender differences too. But I think the demands are a little bit different. I think, I don't know, John, you can probably speak to it differently. The demands of each gender are different, but I think some of the underlying issues are the same.
I think at the end of the day, the human soul feels empty, whether you're a male or a female, and that's kind of when you seek help. However, as a social worker, I have to understand the factors of everyone's life are going to be different, what the community you were raised in, if there's any religious affiliations, the socioeconomic status, male, female, gay, straight, young, old, black, white. All of those do become a factor in your life that we have to address. So it is important to address separately, but the same day, whether it's a man or a woman that looks in the mirror and hates who they see, both of them deserve to get well.
You think it's harder for men? Is it harder for men to stay the course than for women?
Johnny on the spot, man.
No.
Okay.
Why do you think it might be or might not be?
I didn't say that. I just know that there are people that I know that think it is, but it doesn't matter what it is, what you think it is, it matters what it is, right? So depending on the delivery that you're getting and if it makes sense to you, you'll stay the course. If you want to stay the course, you'll stay the course. This is what I've been told.
I think you're bringing up like the key point though, is if people are pulling in, well, I'm relapsing because it's more difficult for a man to stay sober than it is for a woman. I'm looking at that as, you know, what's your excuse? It's hard for everybody to stay sober. And so what are you pulling from as a reason not to stay sober? It's going to be hard for everybody.
See, but your delivery is different because it's not like, you know, BS. That's BS. You're not doing it that way. Your delivery is there, and it's all about the delivery when you're dealing with this particular deal.
And what about an enabling situation? People come to you, part of a couple. My significant other feeds into it, or they provide this, or they keep this in the house and they're fine with it. And now you go through your program and you have to make sure they're going home medically, right, cleared, to a place that's safe for them. How does that work?
I hope this comes off there's 4 things that are going to happen when somebody goes to treatment. They stay sick and the family stays sick. And if you are in a family system with anyone with some sort of dysfunction, whether it be substance use or mental health, the family system's dysfunctional, right? Because the mom hides this from the neighbor and the parents disagree on what to do, and maybe the attention's, oh, look at this kid over here, because the one that struggles, there's dysfunction in the family. So when somebody comes in, they can both stay sick. The person that goes to treatment can get well and the family can stay sick. What I mean by that is sometimes parents don't know what to do when their kid gets well because they've been so busy saving them for the last 10 years that their label, their whole mantra of who they are was, I take care of my kid, and now the kid gets well. What do I do with my life? Like, they don't know what to do. The families can get well regardless of if the loved one gets well. And I know that's impossible to comprehend, but it absolutely is true by setting boundaries and learning about enabling. But hopefully, through family work and family programming, the loved one gets well and the family system gets well. And if it doesn't, it's going to be hard for the loved one to remain sober.
Do you work with family therapy in that type of situation?
So at least everybody
try.
at Futures gets an individual therapist, a family therapist, and on the Arenda unit, I don't know if on the other units, but they get an evaluation at least for EMDR, which is a trauma-focused therapy. So we are in there from day one, contacting the family, doing an assessment on the family. We're treating the entire person and the entire family system just because of those reasons that John said.
Latinos call it the ay bendito syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so when they come back, they baby them, and it's called the ay bendito syndrome. And I knew a lot of family members when I was growing up. I was a kid, I used to watch these things, and people used to come back, right back to the family, not getting healthy, not getting better, and they had to leave that environment because it made it worse, and there was too many challenges. But I like the male-female thing because right now with the pressure about what's going on, a lot of people like to use excuses not to get healthy, not to get back on the horse, not to find and say, listen, I need some help. Because if you don't admit that you're going to need some help, you ain't going to get it.
But I think there's different reasons why people don't seek out help. One is they can't leave work for 30 or 45 days. Two is maybe they can't afford it. Three is they're single parents and they need to be home with their kids. So it's not necessarily, I don't want help. There's other situations with life as
but
to
you're
why
going to pay
they
the
can't.
price. You're going to lose your job, you're going to lose your family, you're going to lose your kids, and then you're going to lose yourself. So weigh it out. There is no shortcuts here.
And that's kind of where the assessment piece comes so essential. At least I know from how we treat at Futures, if you're not appropriate, you're not appropriate. And that might be geographical, that might be financial, that might be clinical or medical. And so that's why it's really important to know the resources in the area. There are places that take Medicaid, there are places that take the indigent, there are places that take HMOs or PPO, and there's facilities, whether it be a detox or a residential or all the way down to an outpatient level. It has to be most appropriate for that system.
Information. They give you a call, you have a consultation, and they find out what direction. But you have to make that first move.
Got to make the first phone call.
Because once you make the phone call and we identify what your barriers are, then we can help you figure out a way to get around them. Because I'm not saying those barriers aren't realistic, and I will tell everybody, I understand those barriers are realistic and they are obstacles, but if you don't address this, the body's really, really resilient and can rebound until it can't anymore. And at that point, it doesn't matter if you have a job or don't have a job, or if you have a babysitter or not, you'll be dead, and then there's a whole bunch of other problems that your family's going to have without you there.
Let's take a commercial break. When we come back, more with Dr. Laura Ellick. We've got John from Futures Recovery Healthcare. Give us a call, or give them a call, 1-855-HOPE 200 or 300? HOPE 300. He took it away as I was saying it. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Born in Marseille, France, Max Lazega creates whimsical and free-flowing interpretive art. His 40 years in the construction industry created the foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art. For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786-326-8873.
Barbara Silver has inspired women worldwide for over 30 years with her artistic talents. With a combination of texture, color blocking, and sculpture, this creator of many beauty bestsellers has taken the world by storm with her passion for design and color. Barbara's eclectic style encompasses it all. Bold and brazen, subtle and calming. She is the most well known for her unconventional tools and techniques, including spinning, scraping, and sandpapering. Her textured surfaces and playful resin sculptures can be found in many tasteful private homes in Florida, Connecticut, and New York. Her miraculous compositions are exhibited at the heart of Delray Gallery, as well as Boca Raton's The Gallery Lounge. For more information, Barbara Silver can be reached at 917-757-0447 or emailed at barbarasilvergallery@gmail.com.
So, you've been hearing all the exciting buzz and chatter about this new game changer in the pickup and delivery and rideshare space. And now you want to know more. Well, forget everything you knew about the tired old delivery and rideshare services that bully restaurants, take advantage of drivers, and confuse consumers into spending way more than they should. Welcome to a new delivery and rideshare company, Trip Delivers and Trip Rides, where we put you first. When you sign up as a driver with Trip Delivers and Trip Rides, we onboard you with your own credit card merchant account. That's right, with Trip, you're in the driver's seat as an owner-operator of your own business, and you'll always earn 100% of the delivery fee, rideshare fee, cancellation fee, wait time, and tip. And therefore, we charge a low monthly fee to use the Trip platform. For only $39.99 per month, you can sign up as a side hustle driver, allowing you up to 75 rides, 75 deliveries, or 75 of both combined per month. Welcome to a new delivery and rideshare company, where drivers earn more, consumers and riders pay less, and restaurants are charged less. Trip Rides. Going places, doing good.
Introducing Verijet, a new concept in short-haul aviation designed to get passengers closer to where they want to go. Powered by the award-winning Cirrus Vision Jet. The aviation world is talking about its unique state-of-the-art safety features, including the aircraft parachute system, and safe return that allows it to land itself in an emergency. Cabins are disinfected between passengers, and microparticle filtration treats the air every 30 seconds. All in a beautifully appointed premium cabin with plenty of room and first-class service and amenities. Verijet, the best short-haul alternative.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Let's
And we're back.
the table.
No, the sign. Listen, if you got any calls you want to join the conversations, give us a holler. Lines are open.
888-994-4995.
I don't know the number,
A.
she does.
I know, but we also have Dr. Laura's books with us on the set. We've got Dr. Laura Ellick joining us, and we've got Johnny from Futures Healthcare joining us. Futures Recovery. We've got Complete Self-Care, which is probably what we could all use right now. 25 tools for stress relief. We've got Dr. Laura Ellick, Wisdom from the Universe, and we've got the Total Wellness for Mommy's book. Is there a theme that runs through all of these?
Probably, I would say it's self-care, self-image, self-empowerment, and just taking care of body, mind, and spirit. That's what it's about.
Let's put up the number. Listen, if you have a friend, if you know somebody, if you were in a position that I was, it's always, I know somebody who can use the help.
Gosh.
There's the phone number. Let them call. Even if it isn't for you and it's somebody else you know, it doesn't hurt to have them call and get some help. Sometimes, you know, we have to be nudged into it because it's okay. It's like that book, It's Okay Not to Be Okay. And everybody once in a while, everybody can use some help, no matter what we're going through. It just is what it is. So
the other thing to remember is that if there's a word for it, you're not the only one. I'm sure there's somebody that might be watching here and be like, but my situation's unique. The fact that there's a word for it means that somebody else already's been through it. So that means somebody else probably has a solution.
And it's funny because we have one of our producers in here was the last graduating class, if you saw on Channel 12, for the Douglas.
Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, yeah.
And you know, and she's well together here and everything else, Hallie. But that whole graduating class, you got to keep an eye out for that because that was very dramatic, very tough. And the families involved with that. It's not only them going to school, but everybody else. And there's a phone number. If you know of anybody who can use some help, you know, there ain't no shame in the game to say, listen, I need to talk to somebody. And this lady that I've known I would trust it with my life. So give them a holler. Number's there.
And it's true. And what we try to do, and we talked about this Friday night, is this program that I want to, or more of a bigger empowerment program than we already do, is to let people know the resources that are out there. And I guarantee you, if you're thinking it, somebody else has thought it before. Whether it's good, bad, indifferent, you're not alone. And someone's had that thought, whether they're having a problem with their significant other, their kids, work, stress, substance abuse. There is help out there. No one should ever feel that they are alone, or someone's not going to understand, or there's judgment, or someone's going to have a bad stigma. Doesn't matter. Somebody else has been there, and that is why we try to provide all of these resources, which is why I want to do even a bigger platform, Dr. Laura, on this. Because as women, for women I only know, we try to cover it all. As you said, you know, mom's going to hide this, or we're going to put this away so nobody knows. And on the outside, you walk around and go, hi, everything's great. Social media is perfect. And then you go home, you close your doors, and it's not. And that, I think, is the hardest thing, is to let people realize that no one has it perfect. We're all coping on a different level.
Men or women. Men or women.
I think we just deal with it. Maybe we deal with, maybe we don't. I don't know.
Well, there's no right way. There's the easy way, and then there's the other way. There's no right way. But, you know, when it comes to guys, you know, you want to give me a holler, and I'll point you in the right direction. I don't have all the answers, but I'll be the first one to tell you, I have sought help because things got tough when my brother died. Tough. You know, I was the only one doing it, unfortunately. Nobody else around me can do it. And it was tough. It was tough getting back on the game. I was coaching at the time. And here you are, coaching these coaches, right? I was a baseball and football coach, and my coaches, I had 12 coaches. And they're the ones that got me some help. And it's tough. It's tough to be able to get through some of these things, especially what's going on right now. So again.
Oh, here you go. I opened up for the page. Sometimes you just have to put on your game face and get out there anyway. Did I not just say that?
That's so funny.
100%. And it's true.
Well, you got to be able to do it.
You put on your game face and then deal with it. I love all the programs you offer. The alumni program is unbelievable, because then you hear people that are hopping from center to center looking for the next treatment. But if you follow the rules and the path, they're welcome to come back to Futures, which is incredible. What is the best way for people to reach you?
My wife sometimes yells at me for doing this, but somebody picked up the phone from me at 3 o'clock in the morning when I needed help the most. My cell phone is 610-938-7589. There's not a time of the day that I won't pick up to. And like I said, it might not be, maybe it's just I have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Maybe we're born to listen more. Sometimes people just need someone to talk to. So whatever that need may be, I'm always available. Thanks.
Amazing. And Dr. Laura, your website?
www.lauraellick.com, and you guys know I always put out my cell phone too, so you can call me 516-635-6186, and if I can't help you, I will find somebody who can.
These tools are incredible. Your program is amazing. Thank you so much for coming into studio, and it has been a pleasure to have you join us.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm looking forward to getting together and doing more stuff.
Absolutely. Slick,
So
did
much
you
to
learn
cover.
anything?
Oh, of course. You know, self-love is key. And get the help when you need it. Yes. I learned a lot.
He sits quietly, but he takes it all in this one. And then we may hear it back tomorrow or another day, but that's the key, is 2 ears. We listen, right? Listen
Well,
twice as much as we speak.
And there's more mental health awareness is going on. You know, I applaud about veterans right now.
Today's Flag Day.
They're trying to figure out how to help our vets, and that's important to get them back into the system. I got to tell you, a lot of athletes, whether it's high school or college, going from that level back into, not everybody becomes a pro, and trying to get back into the norm of things as well. A lot of different, I mean, we don't have, an hour is not enough time because we could touch on.
I feel like you're setting me up. We actually have an athlete track and a first responder heroes ascent track
But I
as well.
hear it. I hear it because I got to coach a little bit football. The NFL has certain programs where you get to coach athletes for them. And your son, we sent 3 kids to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. And,
Great team.
But when those guys go up there and they're among 60, 70,000 people, to get back to life is not easy. It's not easy. And you know, they blow their money. You ever heard how this athlete making millions and millions is broke? There's a reason for that. There's a reason. And I hear it. I hear you saying the athletic stuff and stuff like that.
It actually ties into something you mentioned earlier when we were talking about the grief around somebody who dies. What we find, especially with the athlete population, is that there's a grieving process of the identity, right? Because they don't have 70,000 cheering for them, but they wake up with that human condition that seeks for it. And so because they're still latched onto this identity that's no longer, and so what they do is they turn to something that makes them feel good that becomes problematic in their life.
So much more to cover.
A lot to cover.
A lot to cover. Thank you so much for joining
You're
us.
going to end it, huh?
You know what? There's more to come.
It's true. There is a lot to cover.
Because, we can sit here all day and there'll still be
But
more
now
to
I
come.
have subject matters I wanted to cover.
So we'll talk to them a little bit more. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Seek help if you need it. Give them a call. Always reach out to us. We will get you the resources that you need and send you to Dr. Laura, Futures, whatever it is. We are here to help. Have a great day, everyone. Stay dry. It's really rainy out here. We'll see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. drive time.
Don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.
In the cold and sleepless nights, I wait for you to bring me back to life. In my electric eyes, it doesn't mean that time can thicken every single breath. I want to unfreeze my heart and fly away. That's why I wanna save it. Your moons and craters. Open up my eyes, waterfalls of ice, sweeping me away like an avalanche. Helpless as I fall, the words can't say it all, sweeping me away like an avalanche, like an avalanche. I listen for a sound, waiting deep inside my maze of sweeping thrills and colors. Just a ray of light, bathing me in drops of ink that glaze across my body. Wish you could unfreeze my heart and we could